In this video, we're going to take a look at dividing decimals. Not as ugly as example 3 in the concept video, but here are 3 questions. So what I want you to do is copy these down on a piece of paper. Use the concept video as a model, and pause the video, then calculate the answer to all 3 questions, and then resume the video and follow along and see if your answers were correct. So in the first problem here, we have 12.6 divided by 3. So I have 3 divided into my long division symbol, 12.6, and I can add some zeros just in case I might need them. And don't forget to put your decimal directly above where it is in the question. And so now we say, how many times does 3 go into 12 evenly? What's the nearest whole number? And we can see that that is 4. And now we multiply 4 times 3 and write the result 12 underneath. We then subtract, and we get 0. So in fact, 3 goes into 12 exactly 4 times. But that's fine. Now we carry down the next number, and if the first one is a 0 here, that's fine. Now how many times does 3 go into 6? And 3 goes into 6 2 times. And now we multiply 2 times 3 is 6. We write it underneath and subtract, and 6 minus 6 is 0. So we know then that 12.6 divided by 3 is equal to 4.2. If we look at example 2, now we have 18.4 divided by 3.2. But remember, we never want to have a decimal here, so instead of doing 18.4 divided by 3.2, we're going to do 184 divided by 32. It will give us the same number, the same answer numerically as a response. So 32 divided into 184, and I'm going to add a few zeros just in case I need them. Put my decimal right above, and now I start. So how many times does 32 go into 184? I'm going to say, well, 32 times 10 is 320, so I'm going to try 5. And 32 times 5, 2 times 5 is 10, carry the 1. 3 times 5 is 15, plus 1 is 16. Now, when I subtract here, 184, I get 4, I get 24. If this number here, this 24, if it's larger than 32, then you just have to increase this number by 1, right? So as long as you make a guess that's close, you might have to do some erasing, but you'll know if, when you subtract, if you get more than the number that you started with, that was you were dividing by, then you know you've got to bump it up 1 number. Okay, so carrying on then, we carry down the 0, and now we have 240. And 32 into 240, I'll say is 7. And 7 times 32, 2 times 7 is 14. 3 times 7 is 21, plus 1 is 22. So we get 224. And now we have to subtract. And 0 minus 4 we can't do here, so we've got to borrow 1 from the next column over, so that becomes a 3, and the 0 becomes a 10. 10 minus 4 is 6, and 3 minus 2 is 1. Again, look, this number here is less than 32. And now we bring down a 0, and we say, how many times will 32 go into 160? And if you're paying attention and you look up here, we can see it's going to be exactly 5. 5 times 32 is 160. We write that result on the bottom, and then we subtract, and we get 0 remainder. So we should say then that 18.4 divided by 3.2 is equal to 5.75. And in the last example, we have 53.3 divided by 8.2. So again, we're going to do 82 and 533 instead of the 8.2, right? We kick this one over one decimal place, and we kick this one over one decimal place. And so now we have 533 over 82. And I'm going to make a mistake here intentionally. So let's watch this error. Let's say I say that it's 5, just to explain what I meant in the last part. 5 times 82, 82 times 5. 2 times 5 is 10. 8 times 5 is 40, plus 1 is 41. So if I said that the number was a 5 there, 5 times 82 is 410. Well, look what happens now. When I do my subtraction, I get 3, 2, 1. I get 123. 123 is larger than 82. And so I know that the number can't be 5. I've got to pick the largest number, and I'm going to have to change that to a 6. So do you see what I mean? When the number underneath, that 123, if it's larger than 82, it means you can squeeze one more 82 out of there. So I hope that makes sense. Now, 6 times 82, 6 times 82, 2 times 6 is 12, carry the 1, 8 times 6, 8 times 6 is 48, plus 1 is 49. So I'm going to get 6 times 82 and write my result underneath. Notice that it looks a lot cleaner now that I'm not drawing lines everywhere. And now I subtract. 3 minus 2 is 1. 3 minus 9, uh-oh, I have to borrow from this column. So I change the 5 to a 4, and the 3 becomes a 13. And now 13 minus 9 is 4. And now I get a 0 there. And I'm going to say the closest number is 5, and 82, if you look over here, 82 times 5 is 410. So one more time, multiply what's on top by what's in front, write it underneath with the subtraction, and we get a remainder of 0. So 53.3 divided by 8.2 is equal to 6.5. So that gives you some practice with dividing decimals.